Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Denver, Colorado. Today, another super in-depth. We're gonna follow and trace from the last video that we just did. So we're still in the office, we're still breaking it down, but this time we're gonna be talking about what city or what neighborhoods best fit you here in Denver.
Let's go. What's up, guys? We are the Mile High Property Brothers. I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my business partner, Will Grimes. If it's your first time checking out our channel, thank you for being here. While you're here, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget the notification bell, because every Tuesday and every Thursday we're dropping a new video and we're telling you everything there is to know about either moving to or living in the entire Denver, Colorado area.
100%, and we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado, which means as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with real estate needs. So that number popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls and the text messages. We are also the guys who answer the email. So if that's better for you, have that or throw us along the emails. We love them, but let's get right into it. Let's start talking about what neighborhood or what city could best fit you here in Colorado.
All right, guys, so a big part of today's conversation is going to revolve around generalities in terms of pretty much like lifestyle and just, man, kind of what you're going to find in different areas of Colorado. We just did a video last week where we spoke to the different cities specifically.
Like the top neighborhoods.
Yeah, in Denver.
/ impartial different cities in and around the Denver metro area.
Yep, and just kind of the traits that each one of those cities kind of has. But today, kind of specifically just talking to different areas, why you might want to go north, why you might want to go south versus east versus west.
Correct. So we're going to break these down in like quadrants.
There we go, Hunger Games style.
If you're a Hunger Games style. And hey, listen. I'm giving the credit to Eli. Like, he came up with that. So out of all the funny movie clips we put in, this one's his. So let's watch that one.
And they might be wrong. I've seen like the first one time, so really no idea what I'm talking about.
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, getting into it, let's talk about your south/southeast quadrant. We've covered it a lot, but we're going to be covering, when it comes to south and southeast, it's Southeast Aurora, it's Castle Rock, it's Parker,
Highlands Ranch, Castle Pines,
almost to North Springs, but the North Springs is still a little bit touched out. But yes, we do a lot of work in the Springs as well, but that's a little bit further out. But when it comes to like the lifestyle there, guys, yep, it is very family oriented, right?
Suburban.
But you've also got a lot of young professionals or just middle-aged professionals that don't have kids that live there because they like the big lots, they like the big homes, they want to be quiet, whatever it may be. But you've got great school districts. You do have a lot of cool malls. So you've got your outlet malls in Castle Rock, you've got Southlands Mall in Southeast Aurora, you've got the Reservoir. So even if you want to get out and have some nightlife and you're a parent per se, yes, there are still some cool bar and grills and little mom and pop bars at these locations where you can stay within like your area. You don't have to go down into Denver. And I would say any suburbia that we've got out here, especially when you go south and southeast, they do a great job at like kind of like being their own little utopia and being self-preserved, right? So you've got great stores, you've got great bar and grills and restaurants for family or for you and significant other going out at night and just enjoying a beer. You've got movie theaters, outdoor activities. The neighborhoods are built really well, but yeah, it's a little bit more of like that feel.
It is, and then we'll have a lot of people that are specifically requesting, when people call in and they're thinking about buying a home, we'll jump on a Zoom call, and part of our conversation is diving into wants and needs and just personal preferences. A lot of people, they're so big on getting as close to the mountains as possible, or they're legitimately expecting to go to the mountains a couple times a month. They love real dirt mountain bike trails. For those guys that are wanting to be a little closer to the mountains, I do recommend either Castle Rock or Highlands Ranch, going a little more on the southwest side versus Parker or the southeast where it is. There's still plenty of trails and plenty of stuff to do.
You've got Littleton schools, you've got Douglas County schools out there, so those are really great. But like, let's just bang right around this whole clock theory that I always talk to you guys about. Let's start going a little bit more southwest where we talk about, parts of Highlands Ranch, Lone Tree, still a little bit more close to that Castle Rock area, but we also venture into Littleton. Got like what's that park?
Roxborough
Park, which is great. So, still very similar as far as like a southeastern world and some of these other places, but the homes are a little bit more established, a little older, unless you find yourself in a new build. But as far as being right next to the western slope, like, you are proximity-wise a little bit closer. Do you deal with a little bit more weather? Yes, so make sure you have an all-wheel drive vehicle. Make sure you're good at shoveling your driveway if you face north, especially as you get closer to the mountains, because some of those drifts do come right in that close proximity. Versus as you get a little bit more southeast or just east in general, yes, you have a little bit more mild weather during that winter time.
And shout out to Joe and Jamie. They're about to close on their house in Roxborough. So with them, the big thing that they wanted coming out, they wanted a house that had character, that was kind of unique architecture, and with gorgeous views. Immediately we're thinking,
done.
Yeah. So out in Roxborough, guys, their backyard looks freaking gorgeous, and it's just expansive. There's flat iron rocks that are coming up out of the ground. It is Colorado to the T. So shout out to Joe and Jamie. We appreciate you guys.
Correct. And guys, just keep in mind, regardless of quadrant that you get to, like, yes, this is not Hunger Games. You can kind of commute and go wherever you want. So you're not blocked. So I live in Southeast Aurora. I'm less than an hour to the mountains. I'm less than an hour to Boulder. So I don't mind the commute and the location of where that's at. It's great with E470 and Smoky Hill Road and just me getting wherever I have to for work. Yes, as you get more toward that western slope, does it get a little bit more congested with C470, which is not a toll road? A little bit more. So it takes a little bit more to get into Denver Tech Center or to Denver on that western side. But if that's not a huge deal for you and you don't mind an extra 10 or 15 minute drive, definitely turn those stones.
All right, guys, now next up, we've got your west to northwest quadrant, for lack of better words. And that's going to include, like Lakewood, Golden. Morrison is down south a little bit, but let's throw Morrison in there as well.
Red Rocks Amphitheater, if you guys are familiar with that.
That's in Morrison.
That is not world-renowned. It is world-renowned. It's one of the best places you could ever see a concert at.
Arvada, Longmont, Superior. Longmont's pretty north.
Longmont's real north, slightly west. Superior's going to be northwest. It's off of Highway 36 on your way to Boulder. Yep.
Now, again, these areas, guys, very, very desirable. The majority of people land here. They specifically are moving to Colorado because they want to feel like they're in the mountains. They want to be as close to the mountains as possible without having like mountain living. That is a whole nother ball game. Even just going into somewhere as close as Evergreen, which is just a little bit into the mountains.
When a lot of Evergreen, you're getting into the hills and the trees.
Yeah, it's mountain living. You go from needing a snowblower on your driveway to needing a four-wheeler to plow your driveway. That's the difference. So we'll leave that out of the equation for today. But really, guys, Northwest, if you're looking for maybe some bigger lots, some space, you're okay with maybe a little bit of drive. Solterra
is like a really cool new development area, which has got some phenomenal homes.
Yeah. So you're not as close to DIA. You still have that west side of the 470 loop.
But it's going to take you a minute to get there. You're an hour from the airport if you're going to be on the western side of Denver. Superior is like your last little spot before you get into Boulder, which is either university living, college living, right? You've got CU Boulder there, or you get back behind Boulder into Mountains of Boulder or Netherland, which is it's all out mountain living. It's a different style. Yes, there are some things to be prepared for if you're coming from outside of Colorado and you've never lived that way. Like, yes, there's a lot to do. If you guys have questions on that, of course we can help you. We do a ton of work in Boulder, but definitely some food for thought. Superior, a little bit more upscale, A+ Boulder County schools, great spot. Some of these other places like average home prices, you're going to be like in that 600 and up range.
Yeah, and especially like at Golden, where there's this very limited housing supply to begin with, home prices go up a lot. Now, one of the biggest things I want to say before moving on to our next quadrant is one of the major differences between like a south quadrant to a northwest is that down south, being very, very suburban, you have amazing rec centers that people actually use, community centers for each little neighborhood. You don't really get that on the west and northwest side. Like I'm sure there's developments that do have that. They're just not as prevalent.
Correct. West, if you guys were thinking of this, if this were like a California, right? Like the closer you get to the ocean, like you're gonna have some price point there until you're on the ocean. Like imagine that being the same as Colorado. The closer you get to the mountains, like physical, like you guys can see the mountains from everywhere. The Rocky Mountains are huge. You're gonna see them from Southeast Aurora and everywhere else. But if you want to live up in Evergreen or Boulder or Netherland, like the prices are just gonna start to trickle up a little bit because you're literally living in what everybody wants to be in Colorado for. So food for thought. Moving forward, let's talk about like directly north and northeast quadrant, which we're gonna get into like Reunion and Brighton.
Yeah. So talking to that, guys, man, we just did our Brighton video not that long ago. So if you are curious about that, go back just a couple weeks. However, I learned a lot about Brighton because I thought Brighton was all new builds. The only business I had done up there were 4 new builds, but it turns out Brighton is like the oldest city in Colorado, or one of them.
I had to take this rookie up
He
there.
did. So he's
Great spot.
Yeah.
Old school car shows, a good like just old school
Small town
neighborhood
feel.
feel, small town feel. You've got a great competitive Brighton High School there, which is competitive at baseball and football and wrestling, and cool spot. You've also got one of the oldest main streets in Colorado, period, that's over there. So a lot of really cool like nostalgic stuff. You've got great Mexican food in Brighton, and like that's just not just my opinion. Literally blogs across Colorado.
Yeah.
Can't stop talking about the Mexican food in Brighton. So if you live there, definitely a cherry on top. If you don't, I suggest you go there sometime for some great food. But price points are going to be a little bit more affordable. Yep, you've got some older neighborhoods there with some older homes, affordable homes, but then you've also got like some great new builds that are going there. Still a little bit more unincorporated with the new builds. You're not going to find a lot of rec centers and things like that, but the affordability and that small town feel, maybe you're looking more for that. You're not necessarily into the big suburban areas and the rec centers and all that stuff. And you're starting to get, because we're starting to get a little bit more northeast, DIA is almost like directly 3 o'clock outside of Denver, right? Like it's literally east, I-70 east outside of Denver. So if we're on that whole clock circle thing and DIA is directly 3 o'clock, Brighton is going to be like that 1-2 o'clock area, so you're right on that cusp and you're super close commute to the airport.
Now, Reunion is a development.
Even closer.
Reunion is development in Commerce City, very close to the airport. All new builds. They do have an awesome rec center up there, so that might be a good blend. If you're looking for affordability, new builds, there is a good sense of community up there.
Yep.
You've got a little higher property taxes like you do in most new build areas, right around 1%, but that might be a great option for you.
And just to be specific, because we do like Commerce City and then there's Commerce City, so if you're looking at Commerce City is also like right off of like I-70, and you got like a dog food plant.
All
and
industrial stuff.
All industrial, but technically there was some unincorporated Commerce City that's out east, which is what they've developed in Reunion. So no, you don't have dog food plants and you're not right off the highway. So if you start Googling Commerce City or something like that as you're doing your research, please realize Reunion is it's
Commerce City
within
is
Commerce City, but it's not the same.
Commerce City has changed completely. I remember when I first moved here 20 years ago. Yeah,
Allegedly.
Commerce City was, you're like, nah, these are just warehouses everywhere. Now you go to Commerce City and you're like, there's beautiful homes everywhere. You know?
You're not
in addition to the dog food plant.
And you're still less than an hour to the mountains. You've got great views.
Yeah.
It is a little bit newer. Reunion is completely all within like the last 10 years. So
Yeah.
a lot of it would be considered like new build. But again, commute to the Gaylord Resort, to the Anschutz Hospital in North Aurora, to the airport.
Yeah.
So just a lot to Denver, like not bad at all. A little bit more on the outskirts. So you've got like more of the flat plain look, but then you can observe the mountains from a distance, which is sometimes people's feel better. But a lot of cool stuff that's coming out there. Schools, parks, everything is still really done well. And you do have, just up north from that, you do have some other outlet malls by Loveland, which is less than an hour away, probably 37 minutes away. So if you want to do some outlet shop, why go there?
Yeah.
If you want to do some shopping up north in Loveland, really cool. You can take that pass all the way up into the Rocky Mountain National Park. So still, even when you're on the outskirts, still some really cool stuff. And the price point and affordability there, you're still looking at homes from the 400s and up, right? So a lot of affordability that's there. Definitely would consider it.
Okay, now one more quadrant for you. Central Denver. Right in the middle.
The heart.
The heart.
Lodo, Low-High, all that good
Wash
stuff.
Park, Cheeseman Park, all the Denver parks.
Yep.
Guys, diving into that, again, like I said in our previous video, you know, we do a ton of work in Denver, but when people say they're moving to Denver, most people don't end up actually living in the city of Denver. So something to keep in mind. Again, we're on that Zoom call. We'll dive into all this with you. However, living in downtown Denver, first of all, like, not against it. Some people just freaking love living in the city. They love walkability. They love having a park out the front yard. It does come at a premium. Like, you're looking, you know, if you're looking for an entry-level home in Denver, count on around $700,000.
You got great townhomes, great condos. You've got a really cool nightlife. So whether it's Lodo or Low High and Little Man Ice Cream, I mention that all the time. But what's really cool is they still have incorporated like dog parks within neighborhoods. Colorado loves its animals, specifically loves its dogs. So even if you, so if you're going to be in the Lower Highlands and you want to have a single family home, or you want the apartment but you still want to have an animal, like, yes, you can still walk them around. You still got some dog parks. Colorado tends to be very active. You don't see a lot of clicks per se like in Denver. So even if you live in the heart of it, there's just so much diversity that comes with it. A lot of really cool, interesting people. And I will say, we're one of the cities where even if you live in the heart of it, you still venture out to the mountains and you snowboard and you ski and you go to cabins and you hike in the spring and summer and fall. Very active. So even if you're going to live in the heart of the city and maybe you don't have a vehicle, I would consider getting a vehicle, because you're going to want to do some really cool stuff, and know the light rail does not go everywhere into the mountains, right? So definitely consider that. But it's going to be very traditional to like your downtown city, except for everyone kind of gets along. It's not segregated or cliquish or anything like that. So definitely some things to look forward to. Rhino and 5 Points, in addition to Lower Highlands, does have single family homes. So if you want to be super close proximity to Denver, but the townhome condo thing is not your thing, you don't want to be like actually on 15th Street or Market Street, you just want to be super close, 5 Points, Rhino Art District, Lower Highlands, great options. But I think that's it, guys. I think these are the quadrants that we wanted to show you guys, or speak to you guys and show you guys about. And yes, again, we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado. And yes, we love helping you with your real estate needs just as much or more than we love doing these videos. So that number popping back up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls and text messages. We're also the guys who answer the emails. So if there's something we can do to help you guys, we are super excited to have ourselves and our team help you out. So, but until next time, see you on the next video. But like it if you like it.
Subscribe.
See you guys soon.
See you guys.